Okay, welcome everyone back to video number 4 of the 7-part series for publishing a project from ArcPro to Trimble TerraFlex. As a recap, we went through video 1, prerequisites for setting up this field collection, then video 2, setting up the GDB for publishing, including attachments for photographs and videos and whatever other type of attachments you need, creating the online project in Trimble Connect in video number 3. Okay, now that the project's been created on Trimble Connect, we will then go back through to our ArcPro, where we've set up the GDBs, the GDB, as well as the form schema. Okay, so just as a recap, you switch off visibility on fields that you do not want to be collected on site, and make things nullable or not nullable depending on whether you want it to be required on the field or not. What I'm doing now is I'm just switching the name of our GPS point, which is a basic generic point for us to be able to collect whatever we may need, just to make a note of something on site. It's nothing too specific, nothing too database driven. It's just call it something as a name, put a small description there, and take any photographs to highlight it back at the office. It's something field teams will have used in the past, is to bring to our attention any anomalies or something that they want to bring to our attention. It's a good reference point to go back to see what exactly was found at that location or may need to be reported further. Okay, so the project is our water outlet device phase 8, and because we loaded the symbology from previously saved symbologies, everything ends up in order. The field aliases come on. The alias is what the field teams will see on site, and all the visible fields. Domains were set up as well, but I'm just going back to things that, as a GIS professional, one should know how to create domains and fields and feature classes, feature datasets, coordinate systems, knowledge, etc. Okay, now that's out of the way, we need to ensure that we can publish this using the Trimble Terra Office plugin. The installation of the Terra Office is just download the Terra Office plugin from the Trimble geospatial website's download spaces. Google that to find out where it is to get the latest release. Ensure that you have a current license. Install it and activate it on for your ArcPro, and then you end up with Terra Office in the ArcPro ribbon. We need to sign in here, obviously. We're going to get some warnings for coordinate systems, but this is a standard install. Coordinate systems between Trimble and Esri seems to be standard. The standard coordinate systems. Okay, so as you could see, it's going, and it went back and it had a look at my Trimble ID. It's cached on the system, so it's just logged me in. Okay, these 4 datasets are required to be published. Okay, so there are a few steps that we need to ensure are covered before we publish this. So all of this is now from this Trimble Terra Office extension. Let's have a look what we have here. We have the sign in. We've signed in. If you hover your mouse over it, it tells you you've signed in. Settings. Let's have a look at the settings. We set the project to save automatically, and this is just log files, versions, etc. Okay, so the GNSS logging settings. Obviously, GNSS is more of a generic term for satellite-based navigation systems, not just GPS. It's GPS, GLONASS, PADO, Galileo, IRNSS, etc., and so on. All the constellations that are available for navigation. Okay, it's important that we ensure that we have sufficient epochs, second epochs, 1 second epochs, to ensure that we have decent data accuracy for points, lines, or areas, or whatever we calculate collecting on site. We just don't want a single point collection. So in here we want projects that use real-time collections only. We want 30 points, and projects that are using best of real-time and processing 20 points. Okay, let's make it both 20 and 30 and 30. Okay, path logging rate, or stream logging rate. The GPS devices track you, or they leave behind a snail trail um, of your walking patterns on site and the areas you've been. It's important to have this so that there's proof that someone or a field operator was looking for a specific feature on site, and that they've looked in the correct location. Sometimes we have an issue or instance where, for example, they're looking for an outlet device at a specific location and they cannot find it. The snail line, or the snail trail that this leaves with the path streaming allows us to record an audit trail that yes, this specific field operator went to this location and he stated that this outlet device does not exist, and we have proof now that he's actually been to that location and he couldn't find it. So that's important. So this we set up every 10 meters. It'll log a dot. It comes off as a CSV file that you need to process into a line in GIS when you are starting your project receivables from the field. Good. Okay, so that was the settings. We have no field data yet, we're not going to go there. Let's go into tools. Okay, when you open the tools, we have 3 options here. Add ArcGIS fields to use for TerraFlex auto field values, open the TerraFlex auto field configuration file, or import SSF DDF to a file geodatabase. We're not going to use this function here to bring in any of the old TerraSync SSF batch files. We are now going to be adding tracking fields, which are automatically added by this tool into the feature data sets or feature data classes, feature classes that we want to publish. Okay, before we go and add these fields using a geoprocessing tool, we will now want to check our configuration field, our configuration file, which is a text file that's installed when you install the plugin. And this is a script that the geoprocessing tool uses to add these fields. Everything with the 1 is added, everything with the 0 is not added. You can basically choose what you want added, what you don't want added. So like we want to know who the field user was, the device ID. So all of this information is collected automatically in the background on the device, and this is purely for audit tracking purposes. Okay, so if you don't want a field, put a 0 next to it. This will be the field name and the alias. Okay, so that's fine. We're not going to make any changes to it. So the next step for us would be to add these fields using a geoprocessing tool. Okay, so by clicking on adding those fields, you can see a geoprocessing tool comes up in ArcPro. Our input features, Okay, I'm just going to close this. The reason why it picked up 1 is that none of these points or features were set up as editable. Before I run that tool, I need to ensure that they are editable. Let me click on list by editing and switch all of these on. Now go back into our tools, click on ArcGIS fields for use for TerraFlex autofill values, and now you can see all listed here. There's no environments to talk of. In the auto field set, when we click this drop down, it's a required field, as you can see by that red asterisk. We've got the full set and we've got the configured set. What we've opened earlier, the text file we opened earlier, was the configured set because we decided to cut down some fields. So we click on the configured set and then we say run. Let's just see what's going on in the background here. There we go. Into our GPS point, it's adding these fields. Okay, depending on the number of feature classes you have, this can take some time. So we have 4 feature classes. It's adding 17 fields per feature class. That was 68 in total. Okay, so that's done. We can close this geoprocessing tool. Now let's have a look at the GPS point fields. Okay, then now we've got all these fields added on. These are all the auto fields created when it was created. Accuracies, GPS accuracies, precisions, the project name, everything will be written there, so we don't have the field operator having to keep on adding all of this information for every single point collected. It's all automatic. So every one of these feature classes will have this these fields. Okay. Now that has been done, we are ready to now push this these forms or this GDB onto, which will be the GDB will be used as a template to create the forms in TerraFlex. So this now will be published into TerraOffice, and for us to be able to do that, we then go to the next button here on this toolbar, the TerraOffice toolbar. On this TerraOffice toolbar, once clicking TerraOffice projects, it says manage your TerraOffice projects. There's no projects here. We need to create a new one. So the only real button that's available here is create new. Let's click on that. And here it's asking for some information. The project name that you see here is what the field teams will see on the device. Keep it short because device screen size is limited. Let's try and keep it short enough so that they can see the entire project name on the screen without having to push the screen left or right. We are going to cloud. There is an option to go local, but this will require you connecting each device to your PC, and basically you're going backwards instead of forwards with technology. Okay, it's going to create a map, and in which project do you want to put this in? Remember earlier we had all our projects. Let's go back here. Let's see if I can get back there. View all projects. because it's logged in on my Terra Office, it's picking up all my projects that I have here: the outlet devices, master data dictionary, and the tanker filling points. Okay, so we are obviously putting it into this project, and these are the 4 feature classes that we want to publish. Okay, so we are going to include auto fields. Now what we will do is check that the configuration that we've added with the tool has been applied to all the feature classes that we want published for field data collection. Okay, so all the fields that we've configured here in this geoprocessing tool, add fields for TerraFlex, using the script, the configuration or the configured script, all these fields were added to all the layers. This is just a check to ensure that everything has been added and all the boxes have been ticked on. We do not want to see these auto-configured fields in our field data dictionaries, so we ensure that they are not visible by leaving this box here at the bottom left unchecked. Then we save that. The geodetic workflows, it's basically our coordinate systems. We leave them as is, as we pre-configured this coordinate system earlier on in the map or in the project inside ArcGIS Pro. And we are going to be leaving a latitude longitude in that datum, HTBS 94, which is WGS 1984 on the 94 HTBS took datum. So those are common across ArcGIS and on the SD platforms, and we're going to say save because everything is good here. Before we publish, we're going to look at the source of accuracy. This is the best of real-time corrections as well as automatic post-processing in the TerraFlex cloud. What this means is that the configuration set up on the field devices will initially be used for accuracy. In our case, we are using the Trimble TDC 650, which has sub-meter accuracy. That's the configuration that was purchased with the devices, and that's in the region of about 20 to 50 centimeters autonomous. Thereafter, to get better accuracy, we are doing post-processing. This will happen in the cloud. In our online project, it will happen automatically. It has been configured, and it will be using the TrigNet network available from the CDNGI for better accuracy of data that's going to be collected. Now that is done, we are now going to save and publish. There we go. What it's doing now, because it's logged in and connected through the TerraFlex TerraOffice plugin, it is publishing that GDB. It's using that GDB schema of how we set it up to write these forms onto our online project, and the online location will be the central location from where we manage data collection. Okay, there's only 4 feature classes here. It's a fairly small project. Okay, and there's a confirmation that it has been published. Okay, this window comes up here and says that please note that the created project will not automatically include any future changes in the ArcGIS Pro project map or related data sources. So that schema from the GDB has been locked. Any changes to the schema here on ArcGIS Pro, or even a simple thing like adding or removing a single line from any of the domains will not get published. And this is a shortcoming that we are busy talking to Trimble about, because there will be changes or minor changes that we'd like to make to projects in future, and they need to come develop or add the request into the roadmap for this solution to allow us minor changes in geodatabases, so that we can update without having to republish an entire separate project. Okay, let's just say OK on that screen. Let's just go in here now. So this is the project that's published. I'm just going to edit and just check, and then as you can see here, quite a few things are grayed out. There's all our configured fields. We cannot make any changes to this. If we try publishing this now, it won't make any changes. Okay, so I'm just going to close out of that and close this window. Okay, so now what we've done is we've created a online project in Trimble Connect. Okay, so this is the project for phase 8. I'm just going to just refresh the screen, and there we see a folder that appears under the Explorer for phase 8, and let us open that, and here we go. Remember, we named this when we are publishing it to this. This is what the field crews will see. A T-map is a TerraFlex map. Okay, so that's what we've so far done. We went through 4 steps: the prerequisites in video 1, the setting up the GDB for publishing in step 2 of video 2. Video 3 was creating the online project in Trimble Connect, and this video, publishing the project on Trimble Connect. Okay, we have published that project now, and the next video we will go over editing of the forms, in Trimble Connect. Basically, we're going to set it up to see what the field staff sees on the ground, changing colors and symbology and other things, and also adding conditions if they are needed, where one question is based on an answer from a question before. Okay, that will, once the screen opens up and I show you the map, I will then close this video. Once again, our internet is a bit slow. The servers as well, the Trimble servers, have also shown to be quite slow at times. Remember earlier I said let's zoom in to the map where our project's going to be based. Look at this, and that will translate to the starting position on these maps as well. Okay, so there's our 4 feature classes here: GPS point meters installed, water leak, and also water outlet devices. It publishes according to the name you have in your table of content in ArcPro. Okay, that's where I will leave this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for video number 5 of this 7-part series.